All right, what's up, you guys? We're back again. I'll give everybody about another minute before they trickle on in here. Got my Wealth Squad hat on, y'all. These are about to be dropping soon. We got about 4 different colorways of the hats that are getting ready to come to you guys. They're going to be available here soon, so you guys be on the lookout for that. We got our shirts up. You guys can get your Get Money by Income shirts. Represent the Wealth Squad right. So this is going to be our 6th class together on real estate. So if you guys were tuned in for the last class, it was going to be a 2-part session. I broke it up into 2 different parts. So we're going to dive into part 2 today. Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and dive in. Like I said, I know you guys are busy and got things to do and don't have time to be in here listening to me talk all day. So let's go ahead and kick this off right. Let me share my screen real quick. Boom. All right, let's put this up in the corner. Cool play. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to be, we left off last time. We were talking about how you can finance different ways with real estate. So some of the previous classes that we've had that we've went over, we've talked about all the different benefits to real estate, you know, when it comes to taxes, appreciation, how to leverage your real estate to get into more real estate, how you can possibly get passive income from real estate when done right. Things like that, what type of expenses that you can expect when it comes to real estate. So your principal and interest, that's the P&I, your taxes, your insurance, your utilities, maintenance, or whatever other costs you have if you get a property manager, things like that. We talked about how to figure out how much property you can afford because, you know, that saves you, 90% of your time right there. You know, it doesn't make any sense to be looking at real estate that you just can't afford, right? It would be nice if we could all afford those $1 million properties and, $700,000 properties, but not everyone's pockets are at that yet. But eventually you guys will get there, right? So you got to start somewhere. You have to be true to yourself and true to your pockets on what you can afford and you can't afford. So don't over leverage yourself in real estate because that's an easy way for you to drown in real estate. It's an easy way for you to have a sour taste in your mouth from real estate. And most of the people that have horror stories that deal with real estate, they just got into properties that they couldn't afford, right? They didn't run their numbers. They thought, you can't just get into real estate and just think that it's going to work, right? You got to have a game plan. You got to know if you can increase rents. You got to know if you need to add a few touches to be able to raise rents. You got to know if the area is getting better, things like that, which we already covered. Where to find a property that matches your needs, right? Because everyone's needs is going to be different. Some people are looking for a single family home. Some people need a duplex. Some people want a triplex. Some people want a fourplex so they can live in one unit and rent out the other 3 or whatever it is that they're trying to do. Some people want to be near universities. Some people want to be near hospitals. Some people want to be near if there's an Amazon plant or a Tesla plant or whatever it is, because, you got, when you have these bigger universities, that means that you're going to have college students in and out. If you're next to a big plant like an Amazon or a Tesla or a Coca-Cola, you might have people that work there want to come and rent from you. So like I said, everyone's needs is different. Some people kind of want to be out of the way. Some people want to be in the city. Some people want to do rural type of stuff. And some people want to be kind of just right outside the city. So like I said, my needs, your needs, other people's needs aren't going to be the same. So we talked about how to find a property that matches your needs. We talked about how to find a real estate agent. That's a very important part when it comes to, getting some of the best deals, being able to get deals that other people don't have access to yet, things like that. What type of responsibilities your real estate agent will have, what their role is supposed to be to help you with your real estate journey. So that's something else that we've already covered in the previous class. And then, like I said, all of our classes that we do, they get recorded, they get uploaded, you have access to them. So if I'm talking about stuff that you don't remember, you haven't seen, just go back through our videos in our Discord and you'll be able to find those videos that I've done talking about these different things. What to expect from a home inspector, what their job is, what you could expect to pay, different things like that, how to find a mortgage lender, property managers, right? If you want to end up renting your property out, or if you just don't want to deal with listing it because you don't know how to do, advertising to keep your vacancies down, or if you don't know what rents go for in the area, so you want to make sure your rents are up to date and at what it is for that area. So we talked about that. And then last class that we did, we talked about different ways to get creative with financing your real estate. That's one of the hardest parts for a lot of people, is the financing part. But we talked about how to make it easier. So in today's class, we're gonna talk about part 2 of where we left off last class we had. So here we go. Let's dive in. I'm NoTimeZone, Ace, whatever you want to call me. And we're gonna dive into part 2 of this, financing real estate. So a really creative way to finance real estate is through seller financing, right? So before I kind of dive into seller financing, seller financing can be a little tricky because a lot of times the seller doesn't even know a lot about this. A lot of real estate agents just might not deal with it. So they might know about it, but they might not necessarily deal with it, and they don't know the ins and outs. The same thing with lenders and all this, everyone that's kind of involved on that side of it. So we're going to kind of dive in today a little bit about seller financing and things like that, and what you can do. Just get creative, right? There's so many different ways to get creative in real estate. And people are always saying, just use OPM, other people's money, right? And a lot of people will like, well, shit, if I don't have someone that's a friend or a family member that has money, who can I turn to? So it's a lot easier for people who have friends that have money and things like that. They're able to say, yeah, just use your network, right? But for some of us, if you guys are like me, you got to start from scratch. You don't have that network. You don't have, the people that you can just turn to and ask for a $50,000 loan or a $100,000 loan or whatever it is that it may be. Some of us just don't have those type of resources in our network. So today, that's kind of what we're going to cover. I'm going to show you guys some steps, some things that you can do. But, me telling you and me showing you is just half the battle, right? The other half of the battle, which is actually more than half of the battle, is you getting out there, talking to these people, networking, because that's going to be the hard part, because everybody isn't a people person. Some people don't know how to interact, and then, you don't know real estate, you don't know the real estate lingo, so you might feel out of place. But if you want to get into real estate, you got to, put all that to the side. If you want to change your financial future, you have to do things that you're not typically willing and able to do, or that you're not comfortable with, right? I'm always talking about step out of your comfort zone. And this is some of the stuff that I'm talking about. So it's like, if you want to change your future and you want to, get this good real estate portfolio that, can bring you cash flow, can bring you passive income, something that you can leave to your family or to whoever, you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Hopefully that makes sense. So, all right, anyways, let's kind of dive in. You guys know how I get down. Sometimes I'm on topic, but I can get off topic, if you know what I mean. So if you're negotiating with a motivated seller, creative financing is definitely an option you should consider. So just know that it can be very difficult to do these type of deals if you don't have any money of your own. So for example, you might be able to buy a property with seller financing for 100% of the purchase price, but what if it needs something like repairs, or, something might come up. So generally, these should be seen as low money down, not no money down type of deals, unless you plan on wholesaling, which is a whole different topic. And we're not, you guys know me, I'm upfront with you guys. I don't try to act like I do things that I don't do. I don't wholesale. I do know people who wholesale. I do know about wholesale, but I don't want to dive too much into wholesaling because I don't personally do it. So I don't want to either mislead or anything like that. So that's just another option for you guys. So owner financing is confusing to a lot of new investors. A lot of people don't even know about this. I didn't find out about seller financing until probably my third or fourth deal. Then I kind of learned about it. And then, yeah, I'll kind of touch on a little bit on my story about this seller financing when I get to the end. So where do we leave off at? Oh yeah. So it's confusing to a lot of new investors as well, seasoned investors. I know a lot of people who have been in the real estate game for 10 plus years and they just don't do any seller financing. And that's fine. Like I said, it's just another way. So all these ways and all these things that I'm putting out here for you guys, I want you guys to just kind of see different routes and different outlets, because these are things that I had to learn about, as I went along with my real estate career. And this stuff just came from, reading more books, listening to a lot of podcasts, doing simple Google searches, YouTube, all this stuff, right? So a lot of this stuff within real estate is Googleable, but you have to get out there and put it to work, right? So a lot of stuff you can just go on YouTube and type, step by step how to get into real estate, or different things like that, and you're gonna get thousands of different videos, and it might send you down a rabbit hole, and you might just end up watching video after video after video and never getting anywhere. So hopefully, by us, I consider this a one-on-one, even though we have multiple people in here. This is more of a one-on-one basis. I have a solid real estate portfolio and a real estate background. So I'm giving you guys factual information, right? So you guys don't have to, go finding that right YouTuber or that right blog or whatever. So, I'm kind of your guys' source right now for this. But like I said, I don't know it all. There are other ways to get creative. Some of you guys might want to do BRRRR. Some of you guys might want to wholesale. Some of you guys might want to fix and flip. So don't just be limited to what I teach and what I cover, because there's a lot more than just what I know. I only know what I know, and there's a lot more than what I know. So just keep that in mind as we're going through all this stuff. But like I said, I'm keep getting off track. So it's referred to by other names such as seller financing, holding paper, and private money mortgage. Owner financing is simple loan provided by the seller to the buyer to help fund part of the down payment for the primary financing. So that's a very important part. Remember that. So buyers use this to assist in the financing of their deal and agree to make installment payments, usually on a monthly basis over a specified time frame until the loan is repaid. So here goes 5 different creative ways to finance. And I want you guys to write these down, and I want you guys to do some research. If it seems like something that might be interesting to you, write these down and then do a little more deeper research, because I'm not getting into some of these on here. So if it looks like it might be something interesting to you, then go ahead and do a little bit more research. So seller financing, right? That's what we're going to be covering today. Private loans from a self-directed IRA. The last class, somebody was asking about if they could use their IRA to get into real estate. And with the self-directed IRA, you can use that money to get into real estate. So that's the cool thing about some of your investment. For some of you that have investment portfolios, you can leverage those investment portfolios to get into real estate without having to worry about getting those tax hits from withdrawing early and things like that. And there's multiple ways to look in it and do it. You just have to get with the tax advisor, right? Every time I'm looking to do something, whether if I wanted to pull out of my my Roth IRA, I get with my CPA. I say, hey, I'm looking to get into real estate. I'm looking to pull this much money out of my Roth. What am I looking at tax-wise, right? Don't think you know it all. Reach out to your CPA. That's something I talk about a lot. CPA is just someone that's going to help you with your taxes. And you want to find a good real estate CPA. You don't want to just find any CPA. You want to find a specific real estate CPA that can help you, save as much money as you can, give you those best tax breaks and things like that, things that you can write off. So anyways, private loan from a self-directed IRA, private loans outside of an IRA. So that might be through an individual, through a different company, whatever it may be. Master lease with option to buy. That's one of my favorite things that I've been learning about. So I haven't personally done a master lease yet. I almost completed a master lease, but the deal ended up falling. It didn't fall through. Some things went kind of sideways, but so to touch on master lease a little bit, you get creative with the seller, right? So you tell them, hey, I'm looking to buy, if they're listed their property, if you realize it's been listed for a while, or if you just see it's distressed or whatever, which we'll kind of get into. So a master lease is, let's say the property today is worth 300,000. And you go to the seller and you say, hey, I'm looking to purchase this. I don't have the funds right now, but these are my intentions with this property. I want to live in it for a year, fix it up, get some equity in it, and then eventually I want to rent it out. And so what you do is you'll pay them monthly or whatever type of agreement you come up with, and then that price that they want to sell it for. So let's say this year it's worth 300,000. And let's say you say in 3 years, you plan on refinancing, that way you can cash them out. In 3 years, let's say the value of that property goes up to 400,000, right? That 100,000 in equity is going to you. That's not going to the owner. So the owner still owns it, but if you were to rent it out, if you were to make any improvements, the property is actually yours because you have the intent to sell it by year 3. So it would be void and null if you were like happen to miss payments or things like that. So you would have to get with a company that does master leases. It's not something that's simple. I make it sound easy. It's a lot more to it than that, but it's a pretty cool way that you can get into real estate without having much money. You know, you might have to say, hey, I'll give you, you know, this amount down, and then I'll pay you this amount every month. And then by year 3, I'll refinance, cash you out for your 300,000. So they can't increase the price as time goes on. So if you come up with a 2-year deal, 4-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever it is that you guys come up with, you know, whatever the value of the property is 3, 4, 5 years down the road, they can't turn around and say, well, the property is worth 500,000 now, and at the time it was worth 300,000. So I'm going to increase what I'm selling it to you. They can't do that. And you're protected within that master lease. You have to go through attorneys and things like that. So look more into it. It's something that I really like, and I would love to close a deal, a commercial deal. Commercial is 5 or more units. I would love to do a master lease within commercial real estate, but that's further down the road. I'll keep you guys posted and let you know how that goes. And then also there's a master lease plus option with a credit partner. So write those down, look into those. Like I said, I'm not going to cover any of the master lease or the private loans from like your ROA, from your investment accounts and things like that. I would recommend, if you do want to do that, a lot of people have asked me, I would just say, just get with your CPA, because they're going to be the ones to tell you how much you can pull out, what type of investment you can use to pull out and use for real estate, because you can't use every investment type. So yeah, get with a CPA. They're the experts at that, not me. So when it comes to seller financing, the first thing you need is a motivated seller, right? If you're going to do seller financing, you got to have a seller who's going to be in agreement with you, and they're going to want to be motivated. So here is a list of some, what I call motivated sellers. This isn't the end all be all list. These are just some of the things that I've typically noticed. So whether it be people who are retiring and looking to, you know, maybe they have a 3-story home and they're looking for just a 1-story home, and, you know, it's just too much house for them. Or they're just looking to, you know, just endure the retirement. Those are good people. People who are in the middle of getting a divorce, you know, out-of-state owners, those that are going through bankruptcy, you know, people who have health issues, people who might be starting a new business opportunity and they need the funding, people who are moving to a different city or state, people who, you know, are violated certain codes or health issues, things like that, board of health issues, those who have inherited the property, they just don't want to do anything with it, or they don't want it, or burned out landlords. This is a very common one, and this is one that I typically like to look for. My favorite ones to look for are people who are out-of-state owners, people who are burnt out landlords, and people who are going through a divorce, and retirees. I notice are the easiest, and health issues as well are the easiest people to get seller financing with. And families fighting amongst themselves is another one. So you can write some of these down if you want. These are good. These are the type of people that you're looking for to get seller financing with. So more into seller financing. So you're going to need a broker who understands owner financing. Not every broker does these type of deals. So all you have to do is reach out to different financiers and ask them if they have done any owner financing deals and things like that. So you need a broker who understands owner financing and can convince the seller to consider it. I would use the word educate rather than convince, because there are benefits to the seller as well, right? This piece of the puzzle is crucial in seller financing. If you can't convey the benefits to the seller, then it will be nearly impossible to structure a deal. So this is a very important thing when it comes to seller financing, because a lot of people, like I was saying before, don't even know about this. They don't know the rules. And, you know, some people might think it might sound sketchy, and especially if it's someone that you don't personally know, right? It's like you have to build trust with the seller. You have to, you know, let them know, hey, this is what I plan on doing. You know, I want to, you know, I'm getting in real estate. You know, I might not, you know, you can tell them, be honest with them. Don't ever lie. Don't say, you know, I've been in real estate for this long. You really haven't. People know that people have to start somewhere. They probably had to start somewhere. Or it's like, if you have to lie to get into a deal, that deal could go sideways very quick. You don't want to lie to get into any deals. Even if you have zero real estate background knowledge, you just don't even want to start out that way because you don't know what that could lead to, right? So you just be truthful, be upfront, say, hey, you know, I don't really know much about real estate, but I heard about this method, you know, about seller financing, and I'm very interested. This, you know, I want to increase rents, and I want to, you know, do this, and, you know, tell them, hey, I'll send you pictures every month of the property to let you know that I'm, you know, being up with it. These are the type of things that you want to do to get the owner, the current owner, more willing to do seller financing with you, because it has to benefit them, right? It can't just benefit you. No one's going to do it if it's just going to benefit you. So it has to benefit them as well. And having a real estate agent that deals with this type of stuff is really good, because they can help you have a better understanding of things that you need to tell the seller. And then they can also just help you through the process. And just like I said, when you're looking for real estate agents and you're looking for banks or lenders like that, just tell them, hey, I heard about seller financing. Is this an area that you've done any deals with? Do you have any knowledge? Things like that. And if they don't, it's not, that doesn't mean that you don't have to do any business with them, but you won't want to look at doing seller financing with them. You just want to keep reaching out until you find an agent that does. It's common. It's not very common, but seller financing is pretty common to where most real estate agents know about it. Most lenders know about it and things like that. You're also going to need a bank that's willing to give you the money that you need, right? So you'll need the participation of a bank that's willing to lend money on a deal with owner financing. So if the bank involved in the financing was holding the seller's mortgage, there'll be no need to convince the bank on the operations of the property, right? They know firsthand that the property was positively cash flowing and will support the mortgage obligation. So all you got to do is ask the current seller, like, hey, who did you go through for your financing? Because I want to go through them as well, because it just will make this whole process a lot smoother. And honestly, it does make the process a lot smoother when you're dealing with a bank that's already been dealing with this specific individual in this specific property, just like I said on that last line. The right property condition. So another criteria that consists in negotiating owner financing is the condition of the property and the type of the property. So not every property type is ideal for your typical Fannie Mae financing, if that's the route that you're trying to go. There's a lot that they just won't finance. So you need to make sure, based on how you want to finance, that the property meets those type of conditions. So it would be more challenging to secure traditional bank financing with certain property types. Just check with your lender and ask them, hey, you know, I found this type of property. Is this the type of property that you guys can finance? It's really as simple as that. They'll say yes or no. And also the correct market phase, right? So the real estate market is always in different phases. It's either a seller's market or it's a buyer's market. So the phase of the market plays into owner financing. So as real estate gets hotter and deals become harder to find, which we're in right now, sellers are less willing to owner finance a property. So in their mind, if the market is hot, they can sell their property with ease. So why should they become, you know, creative to try to sell their property? So if you were to try to do like some seller financing about 3 months ago or prior to that, when COVID first hit, you could have got a lot of seller financing deals. And that's what I did. I started my deal, I believe in March or April of last year. And we were gonna do a master lease, kind of what I was talking about earlier. It was for a 20 unit building. We were gonna do a master lease for it, and the seller had some personal stuff come up and they weren't able to sell. We were pretty much all the way through. I had the whole master lease done. We had our agreement. What we were gonna do was we were gonna do a 4-year master lease agreement. I was gonna pay them a certain amount each month, and then I also was gonna have money left over to put in my own pocket. So not only was it cash flow positive, but I was able to pay them, pay everything else, and still have money come into my pocket. So it would have been great. And then I was just going to refinance year 4. I was going to refinance, pay them what they wanted for the selling amount, and then it would have been mine. But yeah, they had some stuff come up, so we weren't able to do it. But it was a pretty fun process. Like I said, I never did anything about it. I was just, you know, on YouTube. I found someone talking about it. I did more research about it. I started reaching out to different lenders and real estate agents saying, hey, do you know anything about this? I never heard about it. And I had reached out to about 5 different lenders or 5 different agents. And I found one that had just actually finished doing a master lease. So it was fresh. So it was very easy. They had the template. They referred me to the right legal, because you have to do some legal stuff with doing a master lease. They referred me to the right legal agency. So everything was smooth. It was really good. I really liked it, but it just, unfortunately, it didn't go through. And now I'm at a point now where it's a lot harder because now we're in a hot market. All around the United States is hot, and deals are going off. So right now, seller financing is a little bit harder, but it's not completely out of the question. All right, private lending. So this is another one. This is the one where I think is hardest for most people, because private lending is typically going to come from people that you typically don't know. Not necessarily saying all the time, but for those of you that don't have that network or have people that you can reach to, some people can just turn to their parents and say, hey, I found this great real estate deal. I need 60,000 and I can pay you back, after this certain. Some people have that. If you guys like me, we don't have that. So let's kind of dive into this private lending. So private lending is a popular method to finance properties when purchasing them. So a lot of people use this as the first step in the BRRRR method, and refinance out of these private loans with traditional bank when the property has been rehabbed and rented. So if you guys aren't familiar with the BRRRR, it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, right? That's a very popular method that some people like to do. I personally don't do it. I haven't done it, and there's no specific reason. Like I told you guys before, the strategy that I used, my very first deal, it worked out great, and I just continued, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So not necessarily saying that BRRRR, I wouldn't be good at BRRRR or whatever. It just, I stuck to what worked for me, and I just kept building with that. So eventually I might try to do a BRRRR. And if I do, I'll let you guys know. And then, hey, I'll be able to share that story with you guys as well. So generally speaking, private loans will not be something you want to stay on your property for very long, because they are expensive, right? So hard money loans will virtually always be too expensive, but even private loans from individuals with money that you meet and convince to lend you will still generally be about 8% or higher, right? If people are going to be lending your money, especially people that you don't know, they're going to want to have some type of incentive. So, they're going to want their money back, and they're going to want some money for giving you money. I always tell people Bigger Pockets is a good source to find some hard money lenders if you don't have a network already. Bigger Pockets is a great network for real estate in general. There are a lot of people on Bigger Pockets, so you can get lost in some of it, but don't be scared to get on there and just kind of look around. So that being said, if you're able to find a private lender who will lend you for less than that, then you can use that as a source of long-term financing. So just be warned that private lenders will eventually want their money back. So you should have a plan in place for when that happens, just like I said. To leverage more deals than you have cash for, you can obtain capital from private money lenders. So unlike a bank, they care more about your real estate track record than they do your credit score, right? So banks, they want to know your credit score, your income, all that type of stuff. So this is a little bit different when you're going for private lenders. So they want to be protected by having a first deed of trust or the primary mortgage on the property. So that means their money is secured by a hard asset. So if you don't pay, the property serves as collateral. That's very traditional and very common. So don't think that that's something far-fetched. So unlike hard money lenders, private money lenders are more relationship based. So they have, it might be a friend, it might be a family member, it might be a coworker, it might be someone you met at a real estate convention, it might be somebody you met online through social media, whatever it may be. That's typically, you want to have that relationship because, you're asking somebody for money. So it's like, imagine if a stranger were to come to you and say, hey, can I get $100,000 for this deal? It's like, I look at family members and friends crazy when they come ask me for money. So let alone a stranger. But like I said, this is business. So you want to make whoever you go through, you want to build that relationship. You don't want to just be like, hey, I need money, you know, kind of introduce yourself, you know, tell them about you, tell them about your background, tell them about what you're trying to do, how you're trying to build this, you know, real estate portfolio, and you're looking for a team, and maybe, you know, they could be the money if things go right. You can tell them, hey, let's try a deal out together. If it works, then we can maybe look forward. You know what I mean? So it's like, try to build that relationship with people. You don't want it to just be about, hey, I need your money and I'm going to pay you, because it's more than just about money. I'm always telling you guys how, you know, don't make everything about money, because you'll end relationships very short when it's just about money. So your primary circle, this circle is made up of family, friends, and acquaintances. So it could be a parent, aunt, coworker, you know, the point guard from your local rec basketball team, or any individual that you personally know. Many real estate investors find their first funding. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Sometimes when people come in late, I can't do anything about that. But anyways, so yeah, so your primary circle is going to be, you know, people that you know, someone that you see on a regular at the gym, or you know, someone from work, or maybe a distant aunt or a distant cousin, or, you know, an old friend from school, or whatever it may be. That's going to be your primary circle. It's going to be typically people you know. Maybe it might be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, husband, wife, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. You kind of get the point. So many real estate investors, this is where they find their first funding from, if they have those people in their circle. And the reason behind that is because there's a low barrier of entry, right? They know you. This is inclined, you know, they're inclined to say yes because they know you and hopefully would want to partner with you. So that's going to be your primary circle. So there are, however, negative aspects of raising money from family and friends, just like doing business. They might not be knowledgeable enough to know the difference between a good and bad deal. So be very clear about the risks, right? There are risks just like there are rewards. So be upfront about everything. Give them as clear of a picture as you can. So you know, they're comfortable in giving you the money, and you are comfortable taking the money and things like that. So make sure your lender truly has enough money for the deal and could afford to lose the investment if it goes south. So otherwise the deal may sour the relationship. So just like anything, be as transparent as you can. Let them know, hey, this just like you would with someone that you don't know. You want to do the same thing with people that you do know, right? Tell them the full scope. I'm just getting in real estate. You know, I'm in this group called the Well Squad. Someone's teaching me about real estate. You know, they say, hey, these are the numbers I need. I found the deal. This is the deal that I found. These are the type of numbers that it's currently bringing in. This is where I'm looking to turn it, you know, by painting the outside, by updating the appliances, by changing out the carpet, by allowing pets, things like that. And then this is where I see, you know, 5 years down the road, you know, if rents keep increasing like they've been increasing the last 5 years, this is what the rents that we'll be able to get in the next 5 years. And then if so, I'll be able to refinance, I'll be able to do this, and I'll be able to cut you your check, and then we can work on another deal, right? That's how it works. So this circle can provide that essential initial source of funds. So like an earnest deposit money, using money from primary circle lenders gives you time to create value by locating and looking up deals so that you can raise additional money if you need it. So your secondary circle of investors is going to be friends and colleagues of your primary circle, right? So, you know, that's why your primary circle is very important. So the bigger your primary circle, the bigger your secondary. So get out there and make more friends and contacts through like Bigger Pockets and other social networking groups. So especially like social media is a really good one these days. You can kind of tell, not all the time, but you can kind of tell, you know, people who are into real estate, because they're either posting real estate on their Instagram, they're posting, you know, they're talking about it on their Twitter, you know, whatever, on TikTok, they're talking about it and posting. So you kind of get a good idea if someone is into real estate, and that will kind of help you out as well. Your secondary circle is the second best source of raising capital. They'll generally be receptive to listening to your proposal, given that your primary circle's mutual contact gave the nod of approval, right? So this is why It's always good to never burn bridges. This is why it's good to be upfront, transparent. Don't lie. Don't say that you've done things that you haven't done, because you might tell someone from your primary circle, they might not have the funds, and they might refer you to someone, as the secondary circle, but that someone that they're referring might have real estate knowledge. So if you come to them and you don't have any real estate knowledge, and you're trying to, because you've done a few little Google searches and you think, they might start asking you more and more. They might start asking you deeper real estate terms that I haven't covered or we haven't even got into. And they're going to be able to smell that you don't know what you're talking about. So it's going to kind of shy them away from even wanting to do anything with you. So that's why I say, if you don't know what you're doing, it's okay, because it could go the other way. So if you're upfront, like, hey, I've been doing all this research. I found that if I run these numbers and get this numbers, and if I can get it to here, this is the rent, this is what, I'm looking to pay for taxes, insurance, my principal and interest. And then, you might be saying all these things, and the person that you don't know is probably listening. And they're like, they might have the big real estate portfolio, and they might be able to say, hey, okay, that's cool. I actually am in real estate, and, this is maybe where you went wrong, or this is how you can improve. And they might be, excited to help you, because you have, when people first are getting into something, they're a lot more motivated. So they know, like, you have that grind and you have that dedication in you. So they'll be more willing, versus if they find out you're lying, talking about things you don't know. So that's why I would say, just be upfront, be honest, tell people what it is that you're trying to do. But take the good with the bad. So it will likely take more time to raise money, since, this group is less positively inclined to say yes. You'll need to prove your worth by preparing an investment presentation and meeting investors face to face, right? So if someone, like I said, you don't know them, they don't know you, they might be a potential lender. So have all your ducks in order. Like I said, have, all the printouts, have your notes, bring everything. Just tell them, look, this is what I was doing. Take them, like, hey, I'll come pick you up. I'll take you out to lunch. Let's get some lunch. If you're getting money from someone and you're asking someone for help, they shouldn't have to go out of their way. They shouldn't have to meet you anywhere. They shouldn't have to pick up their tab if you guys go out to lunch or get coffee. If you want to go look at the property, offer, like, hey, I'll come pick you up. You know what I mean? If you want something from someone, you need to be the one going above and beyond. Offer to pay. If they're like, no, it's okay, we can split it, then split it. Or if you say, hey, I can come pick you up to go take a look at this property, they're like, oh no, it's fine. I'll just meet you there. Little things like that, though, they will be knowing, like, okay, wow, this person, they're offering to come get me, and they're offering to pay for this or that. Not saying that you necessarily have to do that, but it's like, this is part of building that relationship. This is how you stop making it all about money, right? You start, and people, I'm telling you, the people really pay attention to this type of stuff. So yeah, so the third party circle, this circle consists of people you don't know personally. It's like investors removed from your network, pretty much. So this circle is the biggest capital pool that you can access, but it takes the longest to convert them into capital partners, since they don't know you personally or professionally. Yeah, let's keep going with that before I kind of touch more on that. So seeking out lenders you don't know yet. Eventually you might get to the point where you have 2 to 3 awesome lenders helping you complete deals left and right. But what happens if you happen to lose one, or if you lose all those lenders, right? It's never a bad thing to create relationships with these lenders. Before connecting with these individuals or companies, you'll need to get out and find them, right? So the main question that people always want to ask is, how do I find these people? So good thing you guys are in here, because we're getting ready to dive into how you can find them. So the first thing that I tell people is network. You have to network. A lot of people, I know everyone isn't talkers. A lot of people, are introverts. They just, it's just not for them. But in order for you to, be able to get creative and do these things, if you don't, you have to break out of that shell, and it's not going to do anything but benefit you. You don't have to be happy, go jolly, and, running around and doing all this, but you do have to start opening up. You have to, like I said, you have to start getting uncomfortable, so you can get to a point to where you can be comfortable for you and your family, and something that you can pass on. So yeah, network. And this is a good way for you to network. Attend every local meetup that you can, whether if it's at your city's real estate club, or if it's through Bigger Pockets meetup. I should have looked up that app I was talking about last time. I believe it's called Meetup. Hopefully one of you guys can tell me if you guys know, when we're done with this, when we do the Q&A, if it's called Meetup. I'm gonna look it up next time, so I'll be for sure. But they have, it's like whatever you're into, right? If you're into volleyball, if you're into basketball, if you're into drawing, if you're into painting, if you're into whatever, they have real estate on there, and they talk about different real estate meetups. So definitely take advantage of that stuff. Also go to the local chamber of commerce meetings and any real estate conferences that you can find, right? This is all, it's funny because I've talked about a lot of this stuff already, and it's just all coming to, and you guys, hopefully for those of you that have attended these classes or have went back and watched them, you guys are seeing how all this is like putting pieces to the puzzle together. Put yourself out there and make sure those who previously didn't know you get to know you, right? And want to work with you. So people won't get to know you and people won't want to work with you if you're not, out there, right? People aren't going to just come knock on your door and be like, hey, are you interested in real estate, right? So get your name out there, get out there, go to these classes, go to these different things so you can start networking. That's going to be one of the best ways to help you start meeting people that you don't know. Another one is cold calling. So after creating your list of potential lenders, find their phone numbers and give them a call, right? Here's a basic script that you can use. And this is something that I would use. Just say, hello, my name is John, or hello, is this John? Whatever their name is. My name is Bob, and I see you lent money for a project on, 123 Main Street. So tell them I do similar fix-up projects. I'm calling today to see if you're looking to lend more of these type of deals, right? Or if you haven't done any deals, you can say, hey, I ran the numbers on this property and it's looking really good. This is the outcome that I see by year 2 or year 3. What can you guys do? So it's a very easy, like I said, you don't have to put in there anything that you don't know or that you haven't done. Just keep it simple. Ask them, hey, is this a good time to talk right now? Because you don't want to just call them and then just spit out what you're trying to do, right? Because you're just what you, at that point, you just look like, I just want to be the one that benefits out of this. So ask them, hey, is this a good time to talk? And if they say, yeah, then go, keep continuing and tell them what you're trying to do. If they say it's not a good time to talk, just tell them, hey, I'm looking to possibly use you as a lender. Is there any way, you can let me know what is a good time to call you? Or if you want to take my number, you can call me back when it's convenient for you. So don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. So many people, want to put so much extra on it and do all these fancy things. I promise you don't have to be fancy. You do have to be a little creative, but like I said, just be honest, truthful, and just talking and calling will get you a long way. So from there, the conversation can go 100 different ways. This is a relationship game. So you can build rapport by talking about projects that they are working on, other investors that they work with, if they have kids, if they're into any sports, or anything, right? Just, like I said, you want to kind of build, it's a relationship game. That's what you're looking to do, because you don't want to just stop with one deal. You want to eventually do 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 deals, right? So, and it would be nice if deals go good, you want to keep using the same people that you go through. You want to use the same contractors. You want to use the same lenders. You want to use the same agents. You want to use the same inspectors. You want to do all that stuff. Show them how you bring value and don't just pitch, right? That goes back to exactly what I was saying, build that relationship. It's not just about the money. So lenders will be able to see through the phoniness, and trust me, they will right away. They'll call you out on their BS. They won't work with you. They have other friends that are lenders. So if you're really throwing some BS at them, they might call around to their friends and say, hey, watch out for such and such. Because when you're talking about real estate, we're not talking about no chump change, right? We're talking about a lot of money. So when there's a lot of money involved, the name of the game is, honesty, relationships, and just telling people, what your vision is. All right. So, man, we were going, so I didn't realize we're coming to the end. So, all right. So in closing, today, what we covered was a lot of different ways for seller financing. And then we talked a lot about private lending. So a lot of these, like I said, are very simple, easy. It's straight cut. It's really forward. You just have to get out there and do that stuff. You have to put yourself out there. You have to go to these different meetings and these different groups, and you have to go into these forums like Bigger Pockets, and you have to look for, people who talk real estate on social media. Twitter and Instagram are really good places to look for those type of people. YouTube is also a great place to find, those different things. Look at these blogs and all this other stuff out there. So we're going to open up for the Q&A right now. Here's my social media. If you guys want to put any of it down, or if you want to follow me, hit me up, whatever you want to do. For Instagram, it's NoTimeZone, 2 O's in there. For Twitter, it's NoTimeZone_. And like I always tell you guys, I have courses on different things. FHA, which is one way for you to get into real estate, putting as little as 3.5% down. I'll talk about that. I have a course on that stuff. I have a course on how to travel for cheap. You guys know I'm always, no time zone. I'm never in the same time zone. So I'm always traveling around. I talk about how to find cheap flights, cheap hotels, all that good stuff. And I also have a flipping guide, which is about reselling. So that would be a good way for you to, get some money so you can get into, real estate. So it's a good side hustle, how to resell stuff that, are sold in stores on discount, how you can sell it for profit, find stuff online, all that good stuff. Everyone that's a Well Squad member gets 30% off on all my courses. All you have to do is use discount code Well Squad, and that will automatically be applied. So the floor is open. Whoever has questions, go ahead and fire right away, and let's get to it. Nothing? Nobody got any questions for me today? Like I said, it doesn't have to just be about what I covered today. If you got any questions in general, you can go for it.
I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to let you know that you are right about that meetup. It is called Meetup, and they actually have different ones or whatever, but you're definitely right about the real estate one and, the name of that.
Oh, okay, cool. Appreciate it.
Yo, Ace.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on. So I'm already a homeowner,
Okay.
living in my current house, but I'm really looking to get into rental property. So I'm on a conventional loan now, but I wanted to get your thoughts on getting back into a second FHA for that rental property.
Yeah.
Is that something that's possible to get an FHA even though you're currently on conventional?
Yes. So what they're going to look at is they're going to look at your debt to income. Most lenders typically want you to be at 43% or less than that. Some lenders will go up to 50%. And then you'll be able to use, so that investment property that you're looking to get in, if it already has current tenants in it, or if you have some tenants that you can put in it as you're going to get it and close on it, you can use those rents. And so they'll use that, as your income as well. That'll help you. It'll be a lot easier for you to get into that property.
Okay. Any loopholes that you may know of? Because I've been reading that they're saying you have to live in that property if you get it under an FHA, and it's going to be a multifamily rental.
Yeah, so that is one of the caveats with FHA, is that you have to owner occupy. So let's say you get a fourplex, and for those of you that don't know what a fourplex is, it just means it's one building that has 4 units, so like a small apartment complex. So it's just 4 doors, so you would have to live in one and you could rent out the other 3. So, or if it's a triplex, you live in one, rent out the other 2. A duplex, you live in one, rent out the one. And if it's just a single family, you have to live in it for a year. So there are ways for you to get out of those, but it would have to be, your job is making you move, or you're in the military and you have to get stationed at another base. There are certain things that fall under that. And you just have to make sure that whatever those guidelines are for you to get out of it, you want to abide by it. I tell people, you don't want to do anything shady. You don't want to do anything risking it, because you can use FHA for the rest of your life. So you can get a fourplex with FHA, live in one unit for a year, refinance into a conventional, and then that frees up your FHA for you to go ahead and get to another, fourplex. So don't do anything that would possibly get you in trouble. Just know what the rules are. And like I said, it's just a year. If you have to live in one unit for a year, so be it. You don't want to mess up those benefits.
All right, thank you.
No problem. All right. So like I said, if anyone has any other questions, you guys go ahead and fire away. If not, we'll get ready to wrap this on up.
I actually have a question. Per usual, thank you for taking the time out to give us, this information, man.
Oh yeah.
As regarding the FHA loan, when you do a multifamily home, do you actually have to live in like one of the units? Like, can you say, for instance, rent out the other units and use the capital to say, for instance, pay for your unit, but not actually live in a unit, but still actually be paying on that unit?
Right. So yeah, so it has to be considered your primary resident. So the lenders, some lenders are very so like let's say for instance, if you're living somewhere right now, some lenders want to see that you have someone getting ready to either take over if you live in a home. Some lenders won't lend it to you unless you have someone that has like a lease that's getting ready to move in the place that you're in. Some lenders don't really care, but it's not necessarily on the lender. It's just a FHA thing. So it's supposed to be your primary resident for a year. And, I personally don't know anyone who has got in trouble or anything like that, but I never want to tell someone to do something that's outside of the rules, if that makes any sense.
Right. No,
So,
it does. Appreciate it.
yeah, so even if you're paying it and everything is current and it's good, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't come check. I don't know. I personally don't think that they will check, but you don't ever want to put yourself in a situation to mess up something that good, especially since you can use the FHA so many times. Yeah, you don't want to mess it up.
And is that the same every time, where when
Yeah.
you use that FHA loan, that's just the terms, and with the policy is that you have to live in it?
Yep, that's the policy is
Appreciate it.
every time you use the FHA, it has to be your primary residence for 1 year.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
No problem.
How many times can you use the FHA?
You can use it as many times as once you pay off the full amount, you can use it again. And then once you pay it off again, you can use it again. So something I recommend to some people, but doesn't necessarily say that you have to do it this way. After, let's say, a year, if you get enough equity, I would recommend refinancing into a conventional loan, or if it might take a couple years for you to get enough equity for you to refinance into a conventional loan, and then that frees up your FHA and you're able to go ahead and use it again. So really, you could get into a fourplex every other year or every year after your year mark is up, if you have enough equity, or if you just have the funds to be able to if you refinance into a conventional, whatever the down payment and all that stuff would be.
Thank you.
No problem.
Heads up, there's a question in the chat too from Bishop.
Oh, what does it say? I can't see it.
He says, where do you find the most success in obtaining financing? Do you find the property first or secure the financing first?
I find the property first. I like finding the property first because the whoever you go through for lenders, the rates are always changing. So I like to find the property first. That way I can get all my numbers. So I can get, if it's being rented out, I can get all those rents. I can get the property taxes. I can get the insurance. I can get, if there's a property manager, I can get all that. So I can write down all those numbers. That way I know once I go to finance, I know exactly what type of deal I need in order to make it work. So I always tell people, find the property first, find the financing secondly. But in times like now, it's good to once you find your numbers. So that's one of the most important things I talk about, is you need to know how much you can afford. So once you know how much you can afford, you can already start reaching out to lenders and say, hey, because you know that you're looking for properties that are, let's say you can afford a $300,000 property. So you know that you're looking for properties that are 300,000 or less. You can tell a lender, you can start reaching out to lenders and say, hey, what are your rates for a $300,000 property? And then once you find the one that has the best rate, then you can tell them, I need a pre-approval letter through you guys. So that way, when you find a property that you want, you have the pre-approval letter already, and you don't have to worry about, waiting to do that whole process. But I personally like finding the properties first.
What's the quickest way to, or what's the most effective way to find out how much you can afford?
There's different tools and different calculators. So if you go back to the very first one of these I did, I put in a calculator in one of the links, and you can just copy that link and put it in. I believe it's through, what is that website? I forget what website it's through, but I put it on there. There's multiple ones. If you just go into Google and type how much home can I afford, there'll be a few different calculators that come up, and you can put in what your income, your monthly income is, and what your monthly expenses are right now, and then what type of home you're looking for, and then it will tell you based on in your area. So you put your city that you're in, and then your income and all that stuff, and then it will tell you based on that area that you're in how much you can afford. So it's really easy to find out that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, one more question.
Sure.
I'd like to get your thoughts on for rental properties, having them under yourself as an individual or an LLC.
So if you go FHA or VA, technically you can't, like I said, they don't want you to do investment property. So technically you're not able to put it in an LLC until after that year. So that's what I do for properties that I get with VA or FHA. I wait for that 1 year mark, 1 year and 1 day. I transfer it over into a LLC. If you go conventional, or if you just have the funding, then you can get it put into the LLC right away.
Okay.
And so for those of you that are out there that are curious about that, I always recommend people put their properties in the LLC or whatever you want to do, because, and I tell people, get individual LLCs for each property that you get, because it protects you and it protects all your properties as well. So let's say you have 2 fourplexes, and let's say you have both of those fourplexes and under the same LLC. And let's say you have some stairs and someone happens to slip and fall on the stairs at one building and they sue you. When they sue you, the courts can look at everything that you're bringing in from all of those, because it's under, they're suing that LLC. So you want to protect yourself and put each property into different LLCs. That way, if you happen to get sued or things like that, they can only touch that. They can only come after whatever, you got for that specific property. They can't come after you and what your finances are. They can't come after what property B, C, D, E, and F are doing. They can only come after that specific property. All right. Looks like that's it for the questions. So as always, I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. I appreciate the questions that you guys have. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me on, social media, things like that. I'm always answering questions for you guys. But yeah, like I said, take all this stuff. Some people have already started to get deals that have tuned into these classes and asked certain questions. So there's multiple people that we have in the Wealth Squad that are doing deals right now from these classes, and it's been working. So yeah, so put this stuff to use. Like I said, sitting in these classes is only half the battle. The other half is you guys got to get out there and put in the work. So it's like, I'm working deals right now. I'm gonna keep working deals. I'm still reading different books. I'm still, doing this and doing that. It never stops. Things are always changing. Rules and regulations are always changing. Things are different based on, your city, your state, your county. All these different things have different rules. So, it's a never ending cycle. There's, new creative ways to get in and all this different stuff. So never stop learning, and then never stop, just never stop keeping your foot on the gas and keep going with this stuff. Because if you're not getting into the deal, somebody else is. And, the longer you put off, so it's like if you wait till next year, if you're like, okay, I want to do this and that and get into a deal next year, it's like, why wait till next year? Do it now, because next year you could have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in equity, and you could turn around, refinance, and go ahead and get to your next deal. So it's like the longer you wait, the longer you're missing out on those tax breaks, the longer you're missing out on, getting your feet wet, the longer you wait on starting your real estate portfolio. So like I said, be smart about it. Take these classes serious. Go back, if you missed something, go back and do it. If you have any questions, or if you're in a deal right now and you're not too sure about something, reach out to me. There was a couple people that were in deals and they didn't really like who the lenders that they were going through. So they sent me some questions and they ended up switching lenders. So like I said, whatever questions you guys have, feel free to hit me up. I'm here to help you guys out, whether if it's in this class and you're asking questions or if it's on my social media and you're asking questions. You know, sometimes I'm not able to get to people, but I promise you it's not nothing personal. I'm not skipping out or picking and choosing who I'm answering. I just, you know, I have a life. I'm trying, you know, I try to get to you guys when I can. So if there are no more questions, I appreciate you guys. It's Monday, so, you know, we got a whole lot of the week left. Plenty of deals out there to get to. Like I said, real estate is getting hot right now. So jump in some deals out there. And that's going to be it for tonight. You guys have a good one.
Appreciate it.